Hello, my freaky darlings. Welcome back. This week, I'm back to one of my favorite topics, the female serial killer. And this week, it's Nannie Doss's turn. Nancy Hazel was born on the 4th of November, 1905, in Blue Mountain, Alabama. She's responsible for the deaths of 11 people, sometime between the 1920s and 1954. She was also known as the Giggling Granny, the Lonely Hearts Killer, the Black Widow, and Lady Bluebeard. I really like those nicknames. Anyway. Nannie finally confessed to the murders in October of 1954. After her fifth husband died in a hospital in Tulsa, it turned out that she had killed 4 husbands, 2 children, 2 of her sisters, her mother, 2 grandsons, and a mother-in-law. She really didn't like her family. Anyway, so Nannie was first married at the age of 16 to Charlie Braggs, her co-worker at a linen factory. Now, with her father's approval, they married after only 4 months of dating. Braggs was the only son of a single mother who insisted on continuing to live with him after he married. So, Braggs's mother was one of those rather controlling women. You know, the kind of mother-in-law that just makes you want to go. Yeah, one of those. So, the marriage produced 4 daughters. And from 1923 to 1927, the rather unhappy Nannie started drinking, and her casual smoking habit became a heavy addiction. So apparently they both had fun with other people outside of their marriage, and Braggs often disappeared for days on end. Now, I kind of wonder what his mummy dearest was doing while he was off cavorting with other women. Perhaps making Nannie's life hell? So in 1927, the couple lost their 2 middle girls to suspected food poisoning. Soon after, Braggs took firstborn daughter Malvina and fled, leaving newborn Florin behind. Now, shock of all shocks, Braggs's mother died shortly after, and Nannie took a job at a cotton mill to support Florina and herself. Braggs brought Malvina back in the summer of 1928, accompanied by a divorcee with her own child. Father of the Year award right there. So, Braggs and Nannie soon divorced, and Nannie took her 2 girls back to her mother's home. Braggs always maintained he left her because he was frightened of her. Can't really blame him for that one. Her second husband was Robert Franklin Harrelson. They met and married in 1929. They lived in Jacksonville with Malvina and Florine, and after a few months she discovered that he was an alcoholic and had a criminal record for assault. But the marriage still lasted 16 years. Malvina gave birth to Robert Lee Haynes in 1943. Another baby followed 2 years later, but died soon afterwards. Exhausted from labor and groggy from ether, Malvina thought she saw her mother sticking a hat pin in the baby's head. Now, when she asked her husband and sister for clarification, they said Nannie had told them the baby was dead, and they noticed she was holding a pin. The doctors, however, could not give an explanation. Now, look, I mean, I know this was in the 1940s and that medicine hadn't quite, evolved. I mean, that was still the age of shock therapy But, I mean, if there's a hole from a pin in the baby's head, I mean, surely they would have noticed that. But, Anyway, the grieving parents drifted apart and Malvina started dating a soldier. Nannie, of course, disapproved of him, and while Malvina was visiting her father after a particularly nasty fight with her mother, Malvina's son Robert died mysteriously under Nannie's care on the 7th of July, 1945. The death was diagnosed as asphyxia from unknown causes. And 2 months later, Nannie conveniently collected the $500 life insurance which she had taken out on Robert. What kind of grandmother takes out a life insurance policy and then suffocates the child? So in 1945, Nannie's husband, Robert Harrison, raped her. The next day, she put rat poison in Harrison's corn whiskey jar, and he died that evening. But she did let him live for 16 years, which is more than what she let her grandchildren live for, so I guess she must have loved him in some shape or form, or as much as she was capable of feeling that emotion, I guess. She met husband number 3, Arlie Lanning, through a Lonely Hearts column while traveling in Lexington, North Carolina. She married him 3 days later. Like Harrison, Lanning was an alcoholic and a womanizer. Nannie clearly had a type. However, in this marriage, it was Nannie who would disappear for months on end. But when she was home, she played the doting housewife, and when he died of what was said to be heart failure, the townspeople supported her at his funeral. Soon after, the couple's house, which had been left to Lanning's sister, burned down. The insurance money went to Nannie, who quickly banked it. And after Lanning's mother died in her sleep, Nannie left North Carolina and ended up at her sister Dovie's home. Dovie was bedridden, and soon after Nannie's arrival, conveniently died. Looking for yet another husband, Nannie joined a dating service called the Diamond Circle Club, and soon met Richard L. Morton of Jamestown, North Carolina. They married in 1952 in Emporia, Kansas. Unlike her previous husbands, he wasn't an alcoholic, but he was a cheater. At some point, Nannie's mother Louisa came to stay with them. Nannie promptly poisoned her mother in January 1953. Husband number 4 died 3 months later on the 19th of May, 1953. Nannie married number 5, Samuel Doss of Tulsa, Oklahoma, in 1953. Doss was a Nazarene minister who had lost his family to a tornado in Carroll County, Arkansas. Samuel disapproved of the romance novels and stories Nannie adored. In September, Samuel was admitted to the hospital with flu-like symptoms. The hospital diagnosed a severe digestive tract infection. He was treated and released on the 5th of October. Samuel, however, died on the 12th of October 1954. Nannie killed him that evening in her rush to collect the 2 life insurance policies she had taken out on him. His sudden death finally alerted a doctor who ordered an autopsy. The autopsy revealed a huge amount of arsenic in his system, and Nannie was finally arrested. Now, even though she confessed to killing 4 of her husbands, her mother, her sister, her grandson, and her mother-in-law, the state of Oklahoma only centered its case on Samuel Doss. She was prosecuted by J. Howard Edmondson, who later became governor of Oklahoma. She pled guilty on the 17th of May, 1955, and was sentenced to life imprisonment. The state didn't pursue the death penalty because she was a woman. She was never charged on the other murders, and she died from leukemia in the hospital ward of Oklahoma State Penitentiary in 1965. She was called the Giggling Granny because every time she spoke about her murderous escapades, she laughed. Yeah, it's called. She would actually laugh about killing her husbands. Yeah. That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you're interested in things that go bump in the night, serial killers, conspiracy theories, urban legends, haunted places, and other weird shit, please hit that subscribe button. If you've read any of my books and enjoyed them, be a freaky darling and please leave a review wherever you bought it. And if you're interested in getting a free copy of my zombie novella Oasis and other freebies and exclusive content, please subscribe to my newsletter. You can find more details about that on my website. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and be careful of those lonely grannies with a fondness for arsenic, especially if they giggle just a little too much. Anyway, bye.